Assalamualaikum and good morning to Madam Hana and my fellow friends. My name is Nuati Rabiti Junaid and my matric number is 262383. There, I sat at the second row of lecture hall with perfectly poker face, looking seemingly focused on the lecture. But the truth is, I barely heard about Dr. Nisham's explanation about future value of money. Glancing at my phone, I checked the time. I was thinking, what should I do after this class ends? The scratching sound as the pens moved over the notebook caught my attention. Looking at my side, my classmate was writing down notes during lecture. I figured out I should do the same. Writing. In my case, writing a to-do list. I figured writing to-do lists should keep my sanity rather than letting my mind wander off until the class ends. According to a study conducted by Baumeister and Messikampo, concluded the Ziegler effect by finding that when people are overwhelmed with tasks, they should make a plan on how to get tasks done, starting with a to-do list. Simply writing down tasks allow them to go on the next thing. For your information, I have done research and gathered articles about this topic. Some of the informations are based on my own experience. Today, I would like to persuade all of you to agree with me that write a to-do list on a paper rather than mentally listing the tasks. If anything, I want you to remember these 3 key points as I walk away at the end of the speech. Writing to-do lists helps you become more motivated, remember things better, and get tasks done efficiently. Let us begin with writing to-do lists. It keeps you motivated. By writing to-do lists, you can establish goals properly, not just to have them on your mind. Smith stated that in his study, when goals are written down, it will affect graduates' long-term performance. In his study, MBA graduates were asked questions whether they have clearly defined goals and make plans to achieve them. After 10 years, graduates who had written down the goals were earning 10 times more than their peers. Based on study, the act of writing down helps MBA graduates to create a vision in their mind of how successfully they want to be in the future. It is because when you write a to-do list, it is enable you to break down your tasks into actionable steps. In the case of completing final year project report, it begins with writing down the outline, collecting information, and then followed by editing, proofreading, and finally submitting the final year project report. So by breaking it down into minor tasks, much more easier compared to looking at it as a whole big one. It takes off the pressure of a 100-ton mountain placed on your shoulder. Progressing and crossing the small tasks in the to-do list can be very motivating. Besides, it is easy to get motivated but hard to stay in control. Self-control has been thought of as a limited resources that can be depleted. Refraining from steering away from actually doing the task is much more draining. Despite people's best attention to stay in control, people are not able to resist the temptation. Why do it now when I could do it later, or I will complete them at the last minute are among excuses when you have poor self-control. Due to this, there is room for error and things can be missed as you're working close to the deadline. Therefore, by organizing A clear written to-do list will motivate you to get tasks done and stay control. In addition, vividly describe tasks in written form motivates you to achieve them. In a study called the Gender Gap and Goal Setting, it was found out that people who vividly describe or picture their goals are anyway from 1.2 to 1.4 times more likely to successfully accomplish their goals. So imagine a big difference in goal achievement just by the act of writing down the tasks rather than listing them in your mind. It is similar on how you create to-do lists. You can draw, put pictures, or simply just describe your tasks in written form. I used to write my to-do list in a paper, but now I write them on my phone because since I'm a visual person, it is much more important for me to see the standardized type text rather than my own messy handwriting. Therefore, I feel much more motivated to complete the task. The second point is writing to-do lists makes us remember better. The truth is, nobody is capable of remembering anything. Nobody is capable of remembering everything at all times. This is proved by a memory experiment by Hermann Ebbinghaus. In the experiment, he remembered lists of meaningless words and tested how many he could recall. This experiment brings a conclusion that we can quickly forget information over time. Moreover, George Miller suggested that the average person's short-term memory can store between 5 to 9 pieces of information for about 30 seconds. Listing tasks will only stick in your mind for 30 seconds, and unless you do something to push it into your long-term memory, you are going to forget it. To-do list is like an external memory aid that gives you permission to forget. Writing down transfer the scattered memory of what you have to do, therefore making the task unforgettable. When you look at the task repeatedly, it will reinforce the information in your mind and makes you remember better. Writing down helps you to visualize your tasks, and subconsciously, you still remember them after so many years. I still remember when I was 11 years old, I used to write a long-term to-do list. I remember I wrote down that I want to learn how to play musical instrument and learn about sign language. Somehow, subconsciously, it changes how I act and how I still have the memory of writing it down. Indeed, I joined the music class during my high school years and take the sign language class in a university program. I believe to-do lists indeed makes you remember things better. Moving on to the last point. Writing to-do lists helps you to do tasks efficiently. When you don't have to-do lists, you waste time thinking about the task in your mind rather than actually take action. To-do list is a time-honored system that is beautiful in its simplicity as we identify tasks needs to be done, establish priorities, and write down the tasks, do them, and then one by one we cross them off. By having organized to-do lists, you can finish tasks with less amount of time and effort. The best thing about to-do lists, you get to decide how the time allocated about how long each task will take. According to Parkinson law, the amount of time you spend on certain tasks depends on the allocated time to complete them. By enforcing a time limit, so you feel pressure to beat the clock. So as a result, the sense of urgency will put your mind to work more efficiently. To-do lists enable you to do tasks efficiently with lesser stress. Research by Baumeister and Theis found that in the long term, procrastinators reported greater stress and more illness. Having to-do list is like having a silent personal assistant that helps me remember. I feel less stressful because I know I do not forget about any important tasks. Feeling less stressful will enhance my work efficiency. We have reached to the end. Today, we have discussed about writing to-do lists on paper rather than mentally listing tasks on your mind. You should write a to-do list as you will become more motivated, remember things better, and get tasks done efficiently. Do you still remember my story in the beginning? I am glad I am doing something productive. I wrote down my to-do list instead of wasting time, letting my mind wander off until the class ends. You need to love your time. Learn to write a to-do list. That is all from me. Thank you. We will meet again. Bye-bye.